Hey friends, this is Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to video number 5 of our latest series here on YouTube called Use Those Scraps. And this one I showed you some of the things that I'm doing. This is going to be a Valentine's / love theme layout. And the thing that I wanted to do with this particular layout is to create a border using various colors and shades of reds and pinks, and it's going to be shaped into a heart. And again, this series is all about using those paper scraps. That's the main focus on this one. And you know me that I love a border on my layouts, and so I figured instead of just doing the strip of a border, I'm gonna do a little bit of deviation to that and use shapes. But then of course, as I build them all together, that's going to create the border. And I really like this for two reasons, because it's a variation, it's different from my usual thing, but at the same time I'm using all sorts of different papers, and then it will create a not only a border but also a design element on my page. So here I'm just layering them, or sorry, adhering them to my background piece. I did decide to go with a pattern paper. I've kind of contemplated if I should do a cardstock instead, because there's a lot of colors already, a lot of designs already on the papers. But then I found this one particular pattern paper in my stash, and it has a very subtle design. And I think that the subtlety or the subtle design adds to the overall look of this layout. Now I started in the bottom, and I did do the center and the edges first, and then I did fill in the other spaces just so that I can space them a little bit more. But then when I realized that, I can just eyeball them, it will work. And so that's what I started doing. And I will fill in again the entire inside edge or the edges of this pattern paper with my hearts. So if you're new to my channel, or this is the first video that you have watched from the series, basically one of the first things that I am trying to tackle this year is to use up some of my paper scraps. I do have them all organized by color, and I have a video. I'm gonna try to remember to add it in the description box if I remember, but I did organize them and put them in some clear sheet protectors, but then they're kind of like Project Life type protectors where they have different pockets, and I use that for my pattern papers. My idea was that because the pockets are there, I can put like little pieces in different pockets and then the big ones in the other, but it didn't work out. I just basically have them all in the pile, but the good thing is that they're all organized by color, so that if I need a specific color during my process of scrapbooking, then I can just pull that particular sheet protector. And also because it's in a sheet protector and not maybe in a box or in a folder, I can see clearly what I have. So that really helps me a lot. I'm the kind of paper crafter that I like visuals. I need to see what I have, and so that has really helped me. And so this is layout number 5, and we've done where I've used just one specific color. The first video I turned some green paper into leaves and branches, and I used that to create a couple of trees actually on my layout. And then the next one was I did focused on yellows and made some circles with it, kind of look like they're hills or like scallops. And then the third one, oh, what was the third one? Oh, now I can't remember. I know the fourth one was a Christmas themed with the Christmas ornaments. Now I'm thinking what the fourth one was. I'm sure you guys are going to tell me. You're going to look at your cameras or your videos, your devices, and you're going to say, this is what your other one was. Because you guys are smart that way. But I just can't remember for the life of me what was the other one. Anyways, moving on. I have 4 photos here. Most of them are 3 by 4. I did cut down some of them a little skinnier than others just because if I did 3 by 4, it would cut off like my head. So I just made it skinnier on the left and right versus the top and bottom. And then I'm going to put them in the center. And then I did pre-print my journaling on white cardstock, and I just did that on a Word document. And then here is where I'm going to add a few more things. I had pulled out, again, more scraps of paper, and they have a lot of like reds in them or hearts, and so that's what I was focusing on. These pictures are of a lunch date that my husband and I did in 2020, and this was trying out a Mediterranean style restaurant, and we used to do this before I got a full-time job as a teacher, that when I'm not working and he has the morning off from work, we would have a lunch date, after we run errands and things like that. But now, because of my job, we don't really do that kind of date anymore, which I actually really miss. But, we are in a different season of our lives. So as I am looking at this, I'm thinking I need to move things around because I feel like that all the feels heart takes up a lot of space. And then, so now my layout or the photos are not quite centered. Another thing that I need to take into consideration is where am I going to put my title? There's a lot of things already going on here. And because of those heart borders, it just took up a lot of space on the edges of my layout. So I need to kind of figure things out. I also feel like the photos need to stand out a little bit more against the background. And so I'm auditioning some cardstock here so I can see if there's anything that I can use for my matting. Now, of course, I am shopping my scraps first, and I'm looking, and I found that that red one really works well. But the problem is that I don't have enough of that scrap red for me to be able to mat all my photos. So I am going to cheat a little bit and use a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper with to mat one of my photos because it's just not gonna fit. And that's okay, right? That's what papers are for. But of course, I shop my scraps first because that is the goal. A whole goal of this series is to use them all up first. And here is my last photo, and that's going to go on the red one too. Thankfully, I have that specific color in my stash. For some reason, I guess this is not a full 8.5. Yeah, it is. It's a full 8.5 by 11. But I am just glad that I have that exact color of paper because sometimes I only have one sheet, and that's another bummer thing when it comes to paper crafting is you never know how many sheets you're going to need, but it's all working out just fine. And then another thing that I wanted to remember about this particular layout is the food, of course. We, again, like I said, we tried this Mediterranean place and we got some, homemade naan bread, which is really yummy, and then some grilled meats, and then they have the tzatziki sauce, and it was just divine. I am really big on eating and making food, so if you follow me on Instagram, which you don't have to, like seriously, I don't post enough scrapbook pages there, but if you happen to see me on Instagram, you're going to notice that there's going to be a lot of food photos on there just because I'm a foodie at heart. Anyways, let's go back to the photos, and I'm sorry my head is in the way. I want to make sure that when I do finally lay these photos that I have them all nice and neat. Now, I kind of deviated a little bit with my original plan to have those photos kind of really close together. As you can see, there's a gap in the middle, and I'm going to use that to add a heart in there just because, you know, why not add another heart in here because there's already lots of hearts. But I'm deciding that the journaling and the titles are gonna go on the bottom. I will be doing a combo of 2 different fonts with my title, and I'm just gonna use that word awesome from another paper, and then I am going to spell out the word lunch on with some stamps. But before that, let's adhere some of the hearts that I've cut out. And this one is, I think I used for that love, I used the die cut that I used for the other hearts, but in a bigger size because it's one of those nesting heart dies. But with this, all the feels, I just hand cut that one. And my idea was that I wanted to do a visual triangle with my hearts. So I'm going to try to find another heart to add to maybe right underneath the awesome. But as I'm kind of contemplating that, I'm going to move on and I'm going to do my title. I am at first, what was I going to do? Oh, at first I was going to use this white cardstock for my, the base of my stamping, but then I felt like, there's too many whites on the bottom of my layout. So then I pulled out one of my sheet protectors with my scraps, and I found this kind of beige yellowish type of paper, and as you can see, it's a small piece, so I'm just gonna stamp my letters there, and then I used up another scrap of paper, and I like that it's pretty much solid except for like a very slight hint of some pattern there. And this is one of my favorite stamps because it's the kind of the script font, and I cannot get enough of like combining as serif and sans serif fonts. I just feel like they work well together because then there's that, kind of flourishy type of words, but then there's also that blockiness. And then I don't like that they're all like just kind of connected and you kind of can't really read the U. So I'm adding just kind of my own flourish to the U so you can read that it's lunch. Maybe you can read it without the flourish, but I just noticed, I don't know, as I'm looking at it, it just seemed like it needed a little bit of differentiation from the N, because they kind of all look like they're all just one letter. And then I decided to hand cut it, of course, because so that it will fit in the space that I wanted, and also because I don't need all of that extra paper there. And I'm just going to put that on the bottom over my journaling. And I'm going to use some foam adhesive because I also use some foam adhesive with the awesome. But I'm not going to like double it up. There's no need for me to double all of this up. One layer of foam adhesive is plenty because I don't want my layouts to bow or to kind of be irregular shaped after I put them in my albums, in the sheet protectors and in my albums. And of course, I'm going to date this this layout as well, because that's one of the things that I'm trying to be intentional when it comes to my scrapbooking is put the dates on so I don't have to come back and do that step when I am ready to do my, putting my layouts in albums. And then I have this sticker, I think it's crepe paper, but this is like 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, and I'm just adding a few embellishments here and there. And I'm trying to remember if I did put something in the center. Maybe I didn't. No, I think I did. It's been a while, friends. I'm sorry. It's been a while. But I'm going to add, there's my other heart, and I'm just going to stick that in there. Trying to find a different house or a different place for this flower. And then just adding embellishments here and there. And that's going to be my layout, friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. And I will catch you guys in layout number 6. Bye now.